Hello and welcome. About 38 lakh jobs were lost in the first 3 months of this year. We talked about it last time. Now more details are emerging. About 60% of Indians who are at the eligible age of seeking a job are not even looking for any job at all. They have lost hope to get any job and have left the job market. We are talking about 65 crore Indians, and this statistics is from the last 6 years. Meanwhile, the billionaire families of India, their number has gone from 102 to 148. You need more statistics? I have plenty. Mukesh Ambani was making 90 crores per hour during the time of pandemic, while 24% of Indians couldn't even get a salary of 3,000 rupees per month. And this statistics is from the Oxfam Inequality Report of 2022. For more details, please Google. And now about the second richest man, Gautam Adani. Gautam Adani's total fortune stood at $71 billion in early June 2021. A year back, it was just $9.75 billion, a growth of 728% in a year. While the entire country was reeling under pandemic pressure and economic distress, some were making money, in fact minting money. The 9 rich persons of India, the Ambanis, the Adanis, the Mittals, their total wealth is equal to that of 70 crore Indians together. Now this is from the World Inequality Report 2021, an international report about the wealth distribution. The average income of the rich 1% of India is 1 crore, while that of half of Indians was just 66,000 rupees. It's 33% of nation's wealth in few hands versus just 5.9% with the half of Indians. And this is not about the pandemic period alone. The rich 1% took more than 1/3 of the total wealth created in India after 1990s from the liberalization era. The exact figure is 38%. So it was always the rich 1% versus the rest. Welcome to the money train. We follow big money for the people, and we would like you to join us in this train. Please subscribe to our channel. It will take a National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme worker 40,000 years to make what Mukesh Ambani earns in an hour. We can talk about such statistics for hours about the staggering inequality in our country. You refer any recent report on wealth distribution, you will find that India is listed as one of the most unequal countries that exist. How did we reach here? There are many reasons, and the main is the unjust tax system. An employee has to pay 30% income tax for a yearly salary of about 10 lakhs, while the corporates have to pay only 22%. The taxes were slashed in 2019 from 30% to 22%. Expected revenue loss was 1.45 lakh crore. The impact of concessions were huge on tax concessions. This was justified on the grounds that economy will revive, but that didn't happen, and the gross tax collection missed the target for the first time since 1962. The economy didn't recover, the corporates didn't increase the production, and they went home with the tax cuts. Then the pandemic came and made things worse. The government couldn't even spend 2% of the GDP to stimulate the economy. Economic hardships that could have been avoided happened, and it continues. India just lost 38 lakh more jobs. But while the whole nation was reeling under economic pressure, how did the SuperRich, the only 1%, made so much money and wealth? This is mostly through the soaring stock prices, shares. When the economy was slowing down, the money flowed to financial markets globally. Not only the wealth of Ambanis and Adanis spiked, it happened everywhere. Wealth of the richest Americans, Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos, increased by a total of $6.5 trillion last year. America, like India, is also facing the inequality issue. In fact, it's reported all over the world. It's in Russia, China, or Brazil. It doesn't matter which government is in action, inequality is surging ahead. This inequality problem has a long history. Who gets what in an economy has turned upside down. In India, points out Professor Chirasri Das Gupta, out of the total value created, 65% went towards wages and 35% towards surplus in the 1960s. But since 1990s, this has almost reversed. While 35 to 40% today goes to wages, 60 to 65% goes towards surplus. In short, the paycheck of the capitalist gets bigger and that of the workers thinner. The loot carried out by the 1% is systematic and embedded deep in the system. What do? We use the same system to fight back. Ask them to pay more taxes. Remember the 9 richest Indians which we talked about earlier? They now own wealth equivalent to half of the entire Indians, and they will pass it on to their heirs eventually, and their children will get it tax-free. This inherited wealth increases value naturally in due course, even without doing anything, and they will pass it on to their children in future. We are creating a new aristocratic class, very powerful, omnipotent gang, like the Zamindars of the last century. But who are we to ask a share of their parents' wealth, some may ask.
Which, by the way, is perfectly compatible with the self-justification of capitalism. Capitalism says that you have wealth because you are talented.
Yes,
Therefore, there is no reason why your child should have wealth unless the child shows his talent.
And this is not a new concept. The US, UK, Japan, France, South Korea, and many such countries still have it, of course, with some flaws. Even India had it till 1985. Then it was pulled down for a flimsy reason.
The logic that was given at that point of time was that the government, the Ministry of Finance, the Income Tax Department was not getting adequate revenues. Now, one of the reasons why the government was not getting adequate revenues was simply because it was not trying hard enough. There were a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of corruption in the Income Tax Department. It was easy for a wealthy person to bribe an officer of the Income Tax Department and say, okay, instead of my wealth being 100, it is actually 10. And that's one of the reasons why the government wasn't getting adequate revenues. But that was no justification to do away with it.
If you ask an Indian what he or she wants the most, millions will answer that they need a decent meal once a day. Some may say a job. Some others may say lesser fuel price. The entire country is reeling under economic pressure and everybody is expecting a miracle. It's only the SuperRich who are unaffected at all. Why not tax them? A 2% tax on their wealth and 50% tax on the wealth inherited or transferred to the next generation. Will it do wonders? Will it solve India's all problems? The noted economist Prabhat Patnaik says yes, and he has this calculation. Total net worth of private individuals in India is around 650 lakh crore, and its 58% is in the hands of just one person, that is 377 lakh crore. 2% of it is 7.54 lakh crore. For inheritance tax, assuming that 5% of wealth is inherited every year and charging 50% on it, 9.43 lakh crore can be collected. Thus, wealth tax and inheritance tax together will earn a whopping 16.97 lakh crore every year. Do you know what all can be achieved with this money? Many things. In fact, many things. Jobs can be ensured for all under the present rural employment scheme and can be spread to urban areas also. You need just 4.6 lakh crore in total for that every year. A 6.6 lakh crore can go into education and health for every needy person. A universal pension scheme for all above 60 years of age with 300 rupees per month will cost 4.6 lakh crore. And for free food or with heavy subsidies will cost just 2 lakh crore. And imagine the huge economic activity, economic boom that this money will bring into our country. Government will get more taxes and can chip in more money for the welfare of the people, for the country. Don't think that this is an utopia, a wish list. In America, the Joe Biden administration is moving ahead to tax the accumulated wealth of the rich in a huge way.
And President Biden has announced a $5.8 trillion budget proposal for the 2023 fiscal year, which includes a wealth tax for the richest people in the country. Households with assets of more than $100 million would face a minimum tax of 20%.
Even some of the rich are demanding it. Last year, 102 millionaires and billionaires in an open letter said that the present system is fixed, rigged to save them, and this has to change. Even some big names are coming out and calling for a just tax system.
We cannot afford to continue this level of income and wealth inequality.
And what's happening in India? Last year, 50 Indian Revenue Service officers proposed a 40% tax on the rich in their income to reintroduce the wealth tax and the inheritance tax. They gave a report named Fiscal Options and Response to COVID-19 Epidemic, or in the short form, it's called FORCE. And you know what the government did? The union government rushed to junk the report. And you won't believe what they did next. An inquiry was ordered against them. 3 senior officers were charge sheeted.
Indian Revenue Service officials over this report that seemed to suggest a tax hike amidst coronavirus pandemic. The top tax body, the Central Board of Direct Taxes, the CBDT, has ordered an inquiry.
Incredible India, isn't it? But we should not allow this idea to die down. Taxing the super rich is the need of the hour. Remember, we are the 99%. We leave you with the visuals from Mazdoor Mela at Bhim, Rajasthan on the May Day.
आप अगर इन अरबपतियों के ऊपर, आप अगर इस देश के सबसे अमीर 1% जनता के ऊपर, बस 1% जनता के ऊपर अगर हम 2% टैक्स लगा दे, बस 2%, इससे वो गरीब नहीं हो जाएंगे, अमीर बहुत ही अमीर ही रहेंगे। लेकिन अगर 2% अगर टैक्स लगा दे और उसके साथ साथ उनका जो कमाई है, जो अपने पुश्तों के लिए वो छोड़ के जाते हैं, उसके ऊपर अगर 50% टैक्स लगा दे, तो इतना पैसा मिल सकता है जिसके साथ गरीबों के लिए जितने भी हक और हुकूक के सवाले हैं, इन सब के लिए पैसे हो सकते हैं। अमीरों पे टैक्स बढ़ाओ और जनहित में पैसे लगाओ। तो इसी मुहिम के साथ हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि इससे भी हमको सफलता मिलेगी। शुक्रिया। इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।